Imagine living a perfectly normal life, right? Going through the motions, only to suddenly discover you don't actually belong to the human world at all. Like, what if you're secretly tied to a magical realm, whose very name is literally forbidden to speak aloud? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into the incredibly hidden lore and just gripping narrative of the last Arcane. We're going to unpack the secrets, the magic, and the intensely dark history step by step.
So let's get right to it. What if a completely ordinary boy awakens a 1,000-year-old dark power? Now, this isn't just some hypothetical question. It's the absolute core of our entire story today. We're looking at a scenario where a single, seemingly insignificant kid becomes the total focal point for a millennium of dormant, terrifying magic. It's a classic setup, sure, but as you'll see, the stakes here are just unbelievably high. I mean, the weight of an ancient catastrophe is resting squarely on the shoulders of someone who is, quite frankly, completely unprepared for it.
And that completely unprepared someone is our protagonist, Keon. Actually, what's really fascinating here is how incredibly grounded his life is. Keon is literally just a 17-year-old kid living in this small, remote mountain village. There is absolutely nothing outwardly special about him. He's the everyday guy. He could be you, he could be me. And by starting the story in such a relatable, quiet setting, the massive, earth-shattering magical events that hit later feel so much more impactful. You know, he doesn't start off as a hero. He's just a kid trying to get by.
But, okay, his life wasn't entirely normal. He actually had a pretty bizarre childhood. We're talking light bulbs just spontaneously lighting up around him for no electrical reason whatsoever. Sudden, violent winds would just kick up, but only right where he was standing. And maybe most disturbingly, he had these intense, recurring dreams of a terrifying, dark palace. Now, the villagers just brushed all this off as bad luck or, local superstition. But Keon, he always felt in his gut that there was a deeper secret behind these anomalies. These weren't just weird glitches in reality. They were the symptoms of a massive, suppressed power trying to break free.
Everything shifts on one specific night. Out of nowhere, a white deer appears outside Keon's house. But this is definitely no ordinary animal. Its eyes are glowing with this intense, supernatural blue light. The deer just stands there, looking back at him, almost like it's speaking to him without words, giving this silent invitation, "Come with me." It's the ultimate call to adventure. And Keon, driven by that lifelong feeling that he was meant for something bigger, doesn't even hesitate. He follows this glowing-eyed creature deep, deep into the darkest parts of the jungle.
And deep in the heart of that jungle, Keon stumbles upon this ancient, massive stone gate. Carved into it is a seriously chilling inscription. Only the one whose blood carries the last spark of the arcane may enter. This right here brilliantly illustrates the whole concept of destiny in our explainer today, because the exact second Keon's hand physically touches the cold stone of that gate, the entire dark jungle is instantly flooded with this blinding light. The heavy doors slowly groan open. His touch, literally just his touch, was the key.
Oh, and what lies beyond that gate is nothing short of breathtaking. Welcome to Aether Academy. Guys, we're talking about colossal libraries that literally float in the sky. It's this incredible place where students undergo elite, rigorous sword fighting training and where they actually learn the intricate mastery and control of pure elemental powers. It's a hidden sanctuary of knowledge and combat. Basically, a vibrant, living ecosystem of magic that has existed right alongside our mundane human world, completely unseen, until right now.
But Keon, he doesn't exactly get to quietly slip into the back row of a classroom. The moment he arrives, the principal of Aether Academy looks right at him and drops this staggering line. "We have been waiting for you for 17 years. I mean, just imagine being 17 years old and finding out an entire magical institution has been counting the days since you were born. This single sentence instantly isolates him. Every other magical student there is just left utterly bewildered, staring at this totally ordinary-looking mountain boy. Like, who is he, and why on earth is the principal treating him like some prophesied savior?
So the really crucial point is what happens next during the Academy's actual evaluations. The established students are out there effortlessly controlling elements, throwing fire, manipulating water, just showcasing incredibly powerful magic. But Keon? Despite the principal's massive, grand introduction, Keon displays absolutely zero magic. Zero. Nothing happens. He fails completely and totally, publicly. And naturally, the other students, who have trained for this their entire lives, start mercilessly mocking him. It is the ultimate underdog moment. He's the total outsider who seemingly has absolutely no right to be there.
But as you might guess, the mockery doesn't last long.
right in the middle of their laughter, the whole atmosphere in the Grand Hall shifts violently. The Academy's oldest, most dormant magical artifact, this massive, ancient crystal, suddenly begins to glow. And it doesn't just flicker, it radiates a blinding light in direct response to Kian's presence. The laughter stops instantly. The air just gets incredibly heavy.
And from within that glowing crystal, a title emerges. The Last Arcane. Just let the weight of that sink in for a second. The Last Arcane. It's this legendary, almost mythical title that hasn't been seen in generations, and the ancient crystal has just bestowed it directly upon Kian. In the narrative, this stunning, dead silence falls over the entire Grand Hall. All those students who were just laughing at him, now they're staring in absolute shock and awe.
But here's the twist. This title isn't just an honor, it's a massive warning. Later that very same night, under the cover of darkness, the principal pulls Kian aside for a secret meeting. That celebratory mood, the awe from the Grand Hall, yeah, that's all gone. The principal's tone is serious, hushed, and honestly terrifying. He has to reveal the devastating truth behind what being the Last Arcane actually means.
So, to understand this, we have to look back at the legend of Mordek. Exactly 1,000 years ago, this devastatingly powerful dark wizard named Mordek attempted to literally steal and consume all the magic in the world. After a truly brutal war, Mordek was finally defeated. But here is the massive catch. He wasn't destroyed. His dark soul, his shadow, basically just lingered, waiting. And that brings us to present day. The ancient prophecy explicitly states that when the Last Arcane returns to the world, the darkness will follow right behind him. Kian's arrival didn't just bring hope, it directly triggered the return of the world's absolute greatest threat.
And suddenly, boom, all the puzzle pieces from Kian's childhood just snap into place. Remember those recurring nightmares of the Dark Palace we talked about? They weren't just bad dreams, they were completely real. Because of his bloodline, because he is the Last Arcane, Kian have actually been psychically linked to Mordek's lingering shadow his entire life. The Dark Wizard has literally been living in the back of his mind, just waiting for the exact moment Kian's powers would finally awaken.
And get this, the prophecy doesn't take years to fulfill. It happens that very night. Before Kian can even begin to process this horrifying revelation, the ground beneath Aether Academy violently shakes. A massive, deafening explosion absolutely rips through the foundations of the ancient school. The pacing of our story here accelerates from 0 to 100 in a fraction of a second.
The sheer chaos of this moment is known in the lore as the Breach. The solid stone ground of the Academy literally splits wide open. From the depths of the earth, a giant, swirling black rift tears into reality itself, and out of the absolute darkness of that void, a heavy, ancient voice echoes across the crumbling courtyard. I have returned. Total panic erupts. The teachers, instantly realizing that a millennium of peace is officially over, draw their weapons and sprint directly into battle against the abyss.
Right in the middle of this terrifying chaos, Kian's dormant powers finally respond to the ultimate threat. He looks down, and for the very first time in his entire life, this brilliant, surging blue light erupts right out of his own hands. The magic that was locked away inside him for 17 years is finally manifesting. He is the Last Arcane, and he is finally armed.
But, of course, the universe doesn't give him even a second to celebrate. Before Kian can cast his very first spell, actually, before he can even fully understand what that blue light in his hands even is, a massive, shadowy black hand shoots out from the rift in the earth. It lunges across the ground with just blinding speed and violently grabs Kian's leg, yanking him straight toward the darkness.
And wow, that is exactly where the screen cuts to black. Will Kian survive this immediate lethal attack, or has the return of Mordek already fully begun? The stakes went from a kid in a quiet village to the literal potential end of the magical world in just a matter of hours. The structure of the story just brilliantly traps us in the suspense. So what should you take away from all this? Mainly that true power always comes with an equal, opposing darkness. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. If you found this breakdown as gripping as I did, I highly encourage you to seek out the source material and uncover what actually happens next in the saga of the Last Arcane. Until next time, keep questioning and keep learning.